I'm standing in one of 4 anti-aircraft gun placements on a high moor just outside Glasgow in Mugdock Country Park. It was built in late 1941, early 1942 as part of a Clyde Basin defence. It was designed to protect factories and munitions works all along the River Clyde from German bombers. The site comprises 4 of these anti-aircraft gun emplacements, and just over there a command or control room which would have overseen things. This is a closer look at one of the gun placements. There's various little offshoots around the edge of the circular site. Here, for example, you've got a couple of steps leading down into what looks like a small room, and I dare say that might have offered some protection had the site itself been under attack from German bombers. And there's another similar one just on the other side there. And there's various places that you could have just remained in that would offer just a bit of protection. The unfortunate thing about the site is that although it was completed in early 1942, it was built too late to save Clyde Bank, which suffered some serious bombing in the spring of 1941. Indeed, Clyde Bank suffered the highest civilian casualties of any place in Scotland. Hundreds of folk were killed and hundreds seriously injured. And the rather strange thing is that the actual shipyards in Clyde Bank went pretty much unscathed during the attack, and I'm sure they were the intended target. Although I dare say if you're on the German side of things, you might think if you kill off the workforce, then the work can't get done. So maybe civilian targets are the intended target. This is the control room. Very cold, bleak place these days, but I'm sure it was intended to be, if not homely, at least a lot warmer than it is now, so that folk could carry out their intended task. I'm just going to read from the information panel on the wall there, because it will provide more information than I can remember off the back of my head. It says here, this compartment is bunkered in part below the ground. The walls are 18 inches thick and the ceiling is deep reinforced concrete. It is suggested that local materials have been used to construct the gun site. It is believed that the Blackhill Brickworks in Summerston, Glasgow, supplied most of the materials. A command post like this one may have contained the fire control instruments, including a predictor, height finder and radar equipment, where a radio beam formed a triangular movement up to and from the attacking aircraft. This was translated to the gunners for shooting. This method could and would be very successful in targeting enemy planes. It's only when you look at Google Maps satellite view that you begin to appreciate just how extensive this site once was. At the moment, all we have above the ground is the red brick structures of the 4 gun placements and the command centre. But if you look at those satellite images, you begin to see the full picture. I mean, here, for example, we have perhaps another structure and the outline of a slightly larger structure. And on those satellite images, you can see the rectangular outlines of many buildings. Regular shape, probably wooden Nissen huts, perhaps on a brick base, the likes of which remains right there. But they weren't all Nissen huts. They're structures of various shapes, and on looking at it, I can see something approaching about 30 different buildings. I mean, it is thought that the 12th Artillery Division had about 70 or so men and women here. But when I see so many structures, I'm inclined to think it's a much larger force and a much larger operation than perhaps we realise. But the thing about this site is that there is some doubt as to whether it was actually used. Obviously, there was a lot of buildings, and over in this direction, almost a whole street or a small village of different huts and structures. But guns were never fired in anger, from what I understand. In fact, the guns weren't installed. But this site was nevertheless ready to take artillery guns and to perform its function. And it remains to this day as a pretty good indicator of our resolve in stopping Germany in its tracks, which we did. I'm Eddie Burns, and I'll see you again.